Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so it's the end of the year. These are my favorite videos to do, and we are starting off with my letdowns of 2021, the most disappointing books, if you will. Not the worst, because unlike other years, I am including books that I DNF'd. I usually don't do that, but some of these books I had really high hopes for and ended up DNFing, so I wanted to make a video to include those books instead of just the books that I read all the way through, because I don't really do that anymore. If I don't like a book, I really don't. It's gone. So these are disappointing books. The list that I have goes pretty much in order of how I read them. So we'll start with the one that I read all the way back in January to the closest one to now. I don't believe I have one book still. All the rest are in my unhaul pile, and I am not gonna search through that. So let's just get into it. It's not too many. So, okay, the first one is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I had such high hopes for this one. I got denied the arc on NetGalley, so I was like, ooh, it's really good, like they're not gonna let me in, and I saw such good reviews for it. I bought the Barnes & Noble special edition. Like, I was pumped about this book, and I ended up DNFing this like 30% in, and I am still pretty sad about it. I actually thought that I read this back in 2020, like that's how long this year is. So I believe I DNF'd this because the writing, like I listened to the audiobook and it was a decent audiobook with a really good narrator, but something about the writing just was not engaging for me, and I believe I am in the minority with this, and that's okay. Also, it's fantasy, and I am not a fantasy reader, so like honestly this could be on me, but like I felt like I needed to include it in this because I was so hyped for this. I was so hyped for this book, and I ended up DNFing it, and I just hate that. So that was my first disappointment of 2021, and I have not picked up any more of their books, so I just don't think they jive with me in genre and probably in writing, so I have given up. So that's it. The next book, I buddy read this with my best friend Jordan, and we were both like really excited about it because the reviews were so good. So we both picked up the audiobook, and that is Darius the Great is Not Okay. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to like this book so much because of the reviews. Like, people that I like look up to in the book community were giving this like 5 out of 5 amazing, outstanding stars, and not me. The first thing with me was, again, the writing. The audiobook was great. The writing was not good. I can't remember, and I don't want to look at my Goodreads review right now, but the author misused one word or like one statement the entire book, and I was like, look, if this narrator says this particular thing 3 more times, I'm out. And I believe that the characters said it within like 10 minutes. So I did not understand the hype of this one, and neither did my friend Jordan. I don't know if he DNF'd it as well, but he absolutely did not like it. So that was another letdown, and I think I let the reviews get to me. So the next book is More Than Maybe by Erin Han. So Erin Han is a YA contemporary author, and you would think that this would be right up my alley. It's like friends to lovers, and it's about music, and it was so boring. I read it for book club. Like, we vote on what we read in book club, and enough people voted for this that we were reading it, and good lord, were we all bored. Like, no one liked it. We did a survey at the end of book club, and no one liked this book, and it just like, I feel like it had so much potential, but was just so boring. So it let me down because like, it makes YA contemporary look bad. You know what I mean? Like, YA contemporary already gets shit because people don't gravitate towards that genre like I do. And then it just like, it was boring. So makes me look bad. Okay. The next book on my list is Game Changer by Neil Shusterman. I did get the arc of this and I made it like 25% through and I was like, man, I am really not liking this, but maybe I'll like the audiobook better. So I just put it aside and then got the audiobook when it actually came out. So didn't read the arc. Listened to the audiobook and was also bored. I was just so bored. Also, my friend Tatiana mentioned like a good critique about this book, and it's that it's a very white saviory, and I absolutely agree with that. I can't remember anything about the main character's name, but whatever, but the main character like was in different dimensions and like different things were happening to his friends of color, and he was just like saving them all, and it was absolutely a white savior story. And I DNF'd this one. So I think I made it 71%, thinking it had to get better, and it never got better. So, and I see that critique that Tatiana pointed out. It is definitely a white savior story, and like after Scythe and Thunderhead, they were great. But then The Toll came out and he's like completely lost me since then. So maybe it's him, maybe it's not me. Okay, the next book, I have it still. I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of it or not, because this is my favorite YA contemporary author, and that is Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. If you've been here, you know that Morgan Matson is like my top, right? I reread her books like every year. I really look forward to her books because she takes years in between her releases. So to say I was looking forward to this would be an understatement. I got the arc. I made it like halfway through the arc and put it down. I completely DNF'd this. And I was like, I DNF'd my most anticipated release of 2021. Wow. And then the book came out. And I sat down and I finished it. I think I finished the arc. I'm pretty sure I finished the arc, and I already had this on pre-order. Anyway, I finished this. So this wasn't a DNF, but it let me down because of reasons. So Save the Date, the book that came out before this, was basically this same premise and just like a different flavor, if you will. Save the Date was like if anything bad that could happen happened in that book, and it was the same exact premise as this one. And I didn't like Save the Date. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't like, I don't know, and I feel the exact same way as Take Me Home Tonight, and that is why I'm disappointed. Will I still end up buying anything that she writes? Yes. Do I wish she would get out of this premise? Absolutely. So this, it was a disappointment. Should I get rid of it? I'm probably never gonna read it again, but like, I feel like I need to have all her, like I still have Save the Date as well. Okay. I don't know. That was a disappointment. The next book on my list, is another YA fave. God, they came out like in the same month, and just, so I got denied for this arc, and I was like, that's okay, and I pre-ordered it through fucking Amazon, and then Amazon lost it, and I ended up getting like 3 copies, and I was like, great. And I only gave it 3 stars, which is not bad. I don't want to say it's bad, but like after her 3rd book that I read and gave like 5 amazing stars to, whatever. This is We Can't Keep Meeting Like This by Rachel and Solomon. And I know I'm not alone in this one. This one, a lot of people agree with me, so I feel validated, and it's just that, like, it just missed the mark in, like, a lot of things. First of all, in Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, Rowan and Neil have, like, this chemistry that, like, cannot be denied, and I literally don't remember the characters' names, and we can't keep meeting like this because it was just so unforgettable. I mean, so forgettable. It was so forgettable. And they had no chemistry, and I just, like, didn't believe it. So I'm hoping that her next YA contemporary that I already have pre-ordered is good, because I feel like with Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, she just, like, peaked, and now can she? I don't know. I did not like it, and I know I'm not alone with that one, so that makes me feel good. This next note in my phone just says all of Riley Sager. So we're gonna lump all his books together. Okay, so a couple years ago I read his first book, which is Final Girls, and was blown away, absolutely loved it, and then, like, I bought all his books as they came out and then never reached for them ever again, and I don't know why. And then his newest book came out, which I already, Survive the Night came out, and I listened to the audiobook and was like, what is this? It was not good. And then I went back through his, like, catalog and read all his books and just was so disappointed. They're not good. They're not good. Like, no, let me start over. They're good to a point, and then everything just crumbles. And I've said this in so many of my vlogs, but he cannot stick a landing at all. And I don't know if it's because I wasn't reading a lot of, like, mystery thrillers when I read Final Girls that I was blown away. That's probably it. And now that I know better, I'm just like, these are not good. I will say, I'm not gonna give up on him, but I'm not gonna keep buying his books, and I'm just gonna get it on audiobook. So, like, I know he has one coming out in 2022 about, like, on the lake house something. I'll put it here. I'm gonna read it. It doesn't matter that they were all his books were in my most disappointed list. I'm still gonna fucking read it because I hate myself. Okay. The next book I got an ARC of, and I read this pretty early on, and that's As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. Girl, I've seen all the reviews for this one, and everyone is so split. It's either 5 stars, this was amazing, this is the most amazing book I've ever read, or 2 stars, which was me, and it was, what the fuck did I just read? No. And I gave it 2 stars, and I read it early, and then when it came out, a lot of people went back to my review, and I got, like, a ton of likes in a week, and I was like, okay, I'm glad people agree with me. It was not good. Look, Pip lost all of her character development from the first 2 books. She did something she would never do, and it just needed to be resolved, and I just did not like it. It was so disappointing. I have the other 2 books, and I'm not gonna buy that 3rd book. I'm gonna have an incomplete series on my shelves because I refuse to buy that book because it was so bad. No. Let me know if you liked it. I really want to know if you liked it and why you liked it, because I just really thought Pip lost all her character development. And yeah, she does that big thing, which I don't think is in her character as well, but, like, people like that, and I want to know why. So let me know if you like that. Okay, thank you. The end. The next book is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Look, I read this, like, 3 years after it initially came out. However, it's still on the, like, New York Times paperback bestseller as #1 for, like, a year. So I was like, okay. I gave it 3 stars. People were like, 3 stars, and I was like, what? I don't know. My friend Jordan also read it, and I think also gave it 3 stars, and I will say I am not emotional. I have no emotions. So people were, like, crying at the end, and I was just like, I mean, the title tells you what is going to happen at the end. Also, it was so abrupt. Also, I just felt nothing. So I was pretty disappointed with that, especially because it's been like people have been telling me to read it for 3 years and that I was gonna cry, and then I felt nothing, so I guess that's on me. The next book is Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. I loved You Should See Me in a Crown. I loved it. I still love it. 5 stars. I still like remember everything about it. And Rise to the Sun, I was expecting amazingness because of another queer relationship, and I hated every single thing about this book. I hated the characters. I remember the character's name. That's how much I hated her. Olivia was probably the worst character I've read all year, and I have read a lot of bad things this year. So, and I don't think I'm alone in this one. I think a lot of people were expecting so much after You Should See Me in a Crown, and then Rise to the Sun came out, and they were just not likable characters, and I like don't even think Olivia redeemed herself in any way. And you can't have bad characters and then not have them redeem themselves. Like, we need something to hold on to, right? No. I think the only reason I finished it is because the audiobook was like 8 hours and I listened to it so fast, so it was only like 3 hours of my whole life. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a big deal. Never Again. I hope her next book is so much better because I'm sad. Okay, the next book is Horrid by Katrina Leno. I read this in October for my like horror TBR, my spooky TBR, and it just like fell so flat for me. It was kind of creepy in the beginning, and then it just not like creepiness at all. It was more confusing than anything because she was trying to be so creepy, I think. It just didn't work for me. The ending was also so abrupt. Like, I personally need like a good solid conclusion, and I don't like when it's abrupt, and it was so abrupt. So will I continue reading Katrina Leno? Absolutely. If she comes out with another horror book, I'll definitely read it because she writes creepy well, but I just don't think this book hit the mark. The next book I'm so sad to talk about, and that's White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. Also, if you've been here, I basically made all my friends read Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson, and you're all welcome because it's so good. So, when I read White Smoke, I swear up until like 80% it was 5 stars. And then we got to the ending and I had to put it down 3 stars because I wish, and this is not really spoilery, I wish she would have kept it horror instead of the direction that she went into. And I know why she did it, and I think it's important, but also it like ruined everything else that happened before, in my opinion. So I'm upset. I'm gonna leave my next on the list for last because it's my worst book of the year. So the next book on my list is Roxy by Neil Shusterman. Again, I think I've just lost it with him. It's by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman, and this is about 2 siblings who are addicted to 2 different drugs. And I don't think I liked it because the drugs in this book have voices. Took me completely out of the story. I wish it was just about the siblings in general. But I think the idea was good. And I talked about this in my wrap up, but if you're looking for like a book about drugs, I suggest Heroin by Mindy McGinnis. That book was amazing and I still think about it all the time. Okay, so just 3 more, friends. The next book I'm gonna talk about is You've Reached Sam. If you're in the YA contemporary world, you have probably seen the reviews about this before it came out like I did, and I was so excited about this. Like, I hadn't heard of it, and then all of a sudden it was the only thing I had heard of. So I was expecting a 5-star read and to cry, and like sometimes I want to cry, you don't know. So I was expecting to cry, and no. I was so disappointed in this. Like, the premise sounded good, but the main character, I could not relate to her. Like, so the main character just did nothing for me. I did not relate to her, I guess. I don't know. I was expecting more because of all these reviews. It was another one where the reviews got me. So I'll be better about that. Probably not, but okay. Okay, so the next two are my worst books of the year. If you've made it here, congratulations. Let's start with Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. So I'll put this above, but I did a Giving Authors Second Chances, and that was Colleen Hoover. Colleen Hoover is not for me. That's totally fine. She's huge on Book Talk. That's great for those book talkers who love her. She's not for me, and that's okay. However, I did completely make it through Ugly Love, and I hate every second of my life that had to do that. I listened to the audiobook, and it was another one. Her books are so short, so you just like get through it. Miles he needed therapy. You know, like he was not charming at all. He was broken, and not like a sexy way, and like he needed real help kind of way, and I hated every second of my life listening to that book, and I'm so sorry that I did it. Okay, and then my worst book of the year, I actually thought was Ugly Love, and then I looked at this list again, and it is Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. I read this in October with my friend Jordan. Jordan, did we have to stop reading books together? Okay, first of all, 25-hour audiobook, which doesn't really matter to me because I listen to them so fast, but still, that is a lot of time, a lot of my precious time. Second, this is a Christian novel disguised as a horror novel, and I don't recommend it honestly for anyone unless you like are really religious. But even then, I don't think you'd like it because it's weird. Anyway, 1 star. I hated every second of this book, and I'm still so mad that I read it. And the worst thing is I'm mad that they marketed it as horror when it is a Christian novel. That's the worst part of it. Like, they should not have done that, and I don't know why they did that, because I like horror, but I am an atheist. So, no. That marketing really pissed me off. So now I'm not probably gonna read anything by Stephen Chbosky again, now knowing how he thinks. So that's it. These are the letdowns of 2021. If you have made it through this whole video, I thank you. I really appreciate it. So that's it. My next video is my best books of 2021. That's gonna be a long ass video because I read some good fucking books in 2021. 2021 might be a dumpster fire, but I read some great books. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.